What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I am back with another toy review. This time it is the Captain America Winter Soldier, what is it? Marvel Legends Infinite Marvel Now Cap. I'm just going to call him Marvel Now Cap because that's too much to say. But as you can see, I've got him mixed up, side by side with my previous Caps because I'm a bit of a Cap fan. He's one of my favorite characters. He's my second favorite Avenger. I just like the physicality of the character, and I think this Marvel Now design takes the best parts from the movie design and the best parts from the comic design, the Ultimates and the regular 616 version, and mixes it together so he fits perfectly with all your previous Caps. His articulation is pretty nice because it's very reminiscent of many of the movie Cap figures, and it has elements of the old school Marvel Legends Cap figures. He's got a lot of cool articulation, cool details on him. He's pretty damn posable, which was surprising to me because I was expecting him to be kind of in between like many of the figures in this line have been. When I say in between, I mean like stiffness of joints and, issues with stuff. The only issue I have with him is on his foot. You see how it won't, if you straighten his foot up, that's as far as it goes, right? So when you have him standing up perfectly straight, like so, like look at this foot, and look at the other one. You see what I'm saying? It makes him lean. But anyway, long story short, his articulation is really good. I like the fact that it's really simple and easy for you to, pose him and get the ab crunch to work. When I first got mine, his joints were actually really freaking stiff. I mean, he was super stiff. It wasn't even fun. Since then, of course, he's, I kind of worked it out of him. But I just dig the design. There's not much to complain about. I don't know why people have been giving this figure such a bad rap. It's actually just well done. Well constructed, well painted. I mean, there's a little bit of like a lack of engineering, but that's most of American figures, in comparison to say SH Figuarts or, most things that Bandai makes. But overall, it's a dope figure. His articulation is simple. Everything is typical Marvel Legends. And I'm just going to point them out. I'm not really going to do anything except for his neck. The head and neck, you need to see. His head can actually tilt all the way up. You see that? Which is pretty damn cool. I need to move further back. I hate that. I'm trying to get used to doing these in-camera reviews because normally, Anyway, so the head and neck are just like I told you. He's got double jointed elbows, both sides. He's got a ball hinged shoulder, ball socket on a hinge for his head and neck. Actually, we point right there. A swivel and a hinge at the wrist. He's got an ab crunch and an ab swivel. A lot of people have been having problems with that, but it actually works. Actually, I'm gonna use a pointer now. Oh, double jointed knees, boot swivel, thigh swivel, ball jointed hips, and the ankle rocker that we all love, and a hinge so you can point his toes if necessary. The shield, his shield is my biggest point of contention. A lot of figures have come with this wonderful shield over the years. Let me fix him. It's looking like I don't know how to pose my figures. So Cap, stand up straight and look professional, sir. There you go. So a lot of figures over the years, a lot of Captain America figures over the years have come with this wonderful shield. It has, it looks like this on one side and like this on the other. And it has the cool peg for his back, so you can have him wear it on his back. And it also has the little clip for his hands, Now, I felt like it was necessary for me to take pictures so you guys could clearly see what's going on with the shield, the difference. You know what I mean? So next to the Marvel Now Cap shield, which you can clearly see is smaller, you have the Marvel Legends. I think that's Ultimate Cap shield. Almost all of the original Toy Biz Marvel Legend Captain America figures had this shield. The clip was there and it was thick. You can see that it's thicker than the one Hasbro's made, so that it can clip onto whatever sized wrist you have for your Captain America. I mean, obviously within reason, but it doesn't bend. You'd really have to force that thing for it to bend. It folds down if you want to put it on Cap's back, and then you would use those two elastic straps to put over Cap's shoulders to allow for storage like you see in the comics and in the movies now. The movies, actually, they came up with a pretty cool little clip in the back on his harness that you can, well, not the actual figure, but in the movie, he just clips the, shield straps onto the little clip on his back, which is pretty cool. But anyway, with these figures, like I said, the clip that you see there that the Hasbro version is using is real. It's brittle. They use a really brittle plastic, and it's not as thick as what we saw for the Marvel Legends one. So what you would have happen from time to time, and this is what I had happen on my Steve Rogers Marvel Legends figure, Captain Steve Rogers or Commander Rogers. Pretty much the clip broke while I was trying to put that over on his arm, and he doesn't even have anything like in the way. I just literally twisted his hand to fit in the little hole and then tried to turn it, and it just broke right there and then and there. And I was like, what the fuck? How is that happening when I've had, older shields that I don't have any issues with? You know what I mean? So that was a bummer, and I kind of wish that they had stuck with what Toy Biz had created. Next, we have the first Avenger cap. I actually have him using the Avengers cap shield because I didn't really like this figure as much as I like the others, and I hate this shield. So I figured since he's the one I'll use the least, I'll put him in the back. But as you can see, what they wanted to do was emulate the way the straps would work in reality and give you straps that you could loosen and tighten as you want to or as you see fit. Also, it would allow you to put them on his shoulders and strap them on there, and I think it was just stupid. It's actually too much of a hassle. It's a pain in the ass, 100%. So this here is the first Avenger cap shield. I have it on my Avengers, movie figure, Avengers cap. This was cool because it had molded, straps. They're made of obviously the same material as the rest of the shield. The problem is there's no peg for you to store it on his back, and these pegs don't really give a lot, so you have to put it in only that hand or a hand that fits similarly to that hand. You know what I mean? But it was pretty sturdy. And then here we have the Winter Soldier cap, which these are actually rigid, but they're a separate sculpt from the actual shield, and you can't put them on with his fist on. You have to remove the fist, slide his arm in, and then put it on, which is kind of a hassle. So you see why the clip that we used to have was so awesome. One of the benefits too about that clip is it allowed for the wrist to be closer to the shield, so it looked more like what we were used to seeing with how Cap's shield is supposed to look, or how a shield in general, a round shield, should look. It should have a little bit of a kind of like a curve. There's the Marvel Now one. You kind of see a curve, but there's that big gap between his wrist and the actual shield because of that clip instead of, a deeper recess for his hand to fit in. Now you look at the Winter Soldier cap and you see exactly what I'm talking about. His hand is in the curve of the shield. That's the way it's supposed to be. Also, it's a bigger shield. Here's the first Avenger cap shield on the Avengers cap, and it's kind of like that. This shield was kind of warped because it was made of a rubbery kind of plastic. But, all that aside, it's a decent, the figure itself is decent. I like that they gave him an open hand so he can actually hold his shield, for throwing poses like so. And possibly if you wanted to put a gun or a knife in his hand, my cap sometimes uses knives, but mostly would use like a pistol or something. He's a great figure. I mean, like I said, the only thing he's lacking in is the engineering that a lot of Japanese figures have. But American figures seem to lack in that area all the time. Here he is facing off against Baron Zemo. This is the first Zemo I've ever had. I was actually getting ready to get the Marvel Legends, the Toy Biz Marvel Legends version, but I opted for this instead when I saw him. I will be reviewing him soon, but as you can see though, the shield works. It looks good if you can get him in, you know, your cool poses and stuff. If you get a cap that's not all super stiff where it's scary to pose him, then it's a win, you know? So unlike what a lot of reviewers are saying, he's a well done figure. I mean, it's not any worse than any of the other Marvel Legends figures, the other good Marvel Legends figures. And the costume is nice because it's a combination of movie elements as well as comic book elements. So if you like Captain America, then this is your figure. You know what I mean? If you like the movie cap, this can work for your movie cap. He's got enough detail on him. If you like the comic book cap, this is a comic book cap, so it fills that need. So he looks good with movie figures and whatever else. So let's move on to the next review. The next review is the Winter Soldier cap. I actually picked him up a little bit after I found the Marvel Now cap. This figure is actually really good. It's one of my favorites so far. And everything that was good with the previous movie cap for the Avengers is equally as good here, if not better, with the different hands and stuff. This figure is awesome in plastic form. Just awesome. I mean, sculpting is awesome. His, just everything is awesome. I mean, his, everything is also, he's just well detailed. You know what I'm saying? From head to toe. Now, the thing I'm going to point out on him has to do with articulation. Now, he does have the same kind of articulation as the other guys, where he's got the ball socket, and then he's got the hinge up there, so his head can go back really far, and it can look down really far as well. I like that. His hand. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, so I didn't break it, but these things are glued in, and I twisted his arm a little bit, and it popped one of those out of the glue. I can't believe that actually happened. That's the downside. They used very rigid plastic in here, and they didn't use a soft, pliable plastic. So if you do happen to bend his arm and don't realize that that strap is all the way up here instead of being over his wrist or forearm, you'll have what I had happen to you. The best way to take the shield off, though, is to take the hand off, which once again, it adds stress to the, you know, the strap, which I don't know why they did that. And you pull his arm through, and then you can put the arm back on. Let me show you guys up close what happened. So that came loose of its binding. You see that? God, I've been having a lot of bad luck with my figures lately. I mean, is this a sign that I need to stop? That's my complaint, though. So with the first Avenger cap shield, he had the same kind of setup, but it was just sculpted. And it's hard, but it's somewhat pliable. You see my fingers are moving because I'm pressing on it and it's moving. So you could just stick homeboy's arm in there, and as long as you had an open hand, which I'll do, I'll use the chopping or saluting hand. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See that? You put that in there, and boom, he's holding his shield. Actually, you could slide his whole hand in that way, but he's holding his shield. And it looks good. Okay, that bullshit's over. Alright, so the issue is, right, I gave up on using that other shield. The issues that I have are two things. The shield, the straps are too far apart. That's why I had the problem I had, because look, when you have it on his hand, if you don't have the chopping hand on or the pointing hand, this sits way where it's supposed to sit, but this sits all the way up by his bicep, and that's not fun. Other things, he's got all the Marvel Legends awesome articulation. I mean, his ab crunch is actually like amazing. I mean, he could literally jump up and just take that, Zemo. I mean, look at that. It's perfect. Perfect. If you had him on a motorcycle, you could have him crouch down properly. It's just amazing articulation in that
area. The problems I have is like his shoulders. Look at how much clearance you have. That's the most on all of them. Even the Spider-Man figures don't have all of that. But then, you know, his leg forward, it goes up that high. And then combined with the crouch, that's Cap kicking really high. Backwards, of course you don't, because it's the old school little butt pad back here, so it can't go back very far at all. But you know, if he's on one foot and you just pose him like that, that's a kick, you know. Sickle foot. Ooh, that's a kick. It looks good, right? Now, Captain America, one of his powers essentially is to kick people's asses. I mean, that's what he does, right? That's as far sideways as he can lift his foot, unless you do this. Well, you turn his leg the other way and then twist it at the hip, which just looks odd. You know what I'm saying? So he can't kick out to the side. That's as far as he can kick out to the side. Because you see this point right there on his hip? Let me turn to the light, I'm sorry. There are points sculpted in on the, you know, hips. And you can kind of see them on the edges. You see how they jut out? And they bump up against the inside of his thigh, and they cause kind of, you know, resistance. So you can't do what you want to do based on that resistance, which freaking sucks. You shouldn't have any Captain America figure that can't kick. Don't believe me? Even the first Avenger one that has Y joints, boom, look at that, that's a kick. Boom, he can kick you in the face. Movie Cap. Movie Cap has amazing articulation. Look at that. Boom, he can kick you in the face. No problem. Ultimate Cap. People think I'm just tripping when I say these things. Look at Ultimate Cap. Boom, right in the face. No problem whatsoever. The very first Marvel Legends Captain America. No problem. He was so dope, he could kick you in the face with both feet like that. Bop, bop, bop. Boom. Perfect. You know? Even that corny, which I meant to make the comparison, the Steve Rogers figure that looks good but has like weird articulation and weird size. Boom. Look at that. That's the way it should be. Why not just, you know, sand down those just a little bit? You know, just a tiny little bit. I don't understand it. Even the Marvel Now Captain America has a similar issue, but he can kick higher than this Captain America. I don't know why. It's like they went out of their way to sculpt things on the thighs of these figures, and it still, that's as high as he can go. And if you're clever, you know, which I am, you can get him to kick up like that. Boom! You can't do that so much with this Captain America. Lean him forward, bring his foot up. I guess that's as far as you could do. So you can kind of fake it. It's not too bad. But, you know, if you wanted him to just do that pose, or he can't do splits, that's as far as his legs go with a regular lateral split, you know? So, you know, that's my gripe. Everything else is just pure badass, you know? His fists, he comes with a pair of fists, which is what I have him sporting right now, so he can clobber the enemy. Then he comes with his saluting hand, which I've shown you a picture of already, saluting hands. And he comes with his pointing hand. You know, no. Bad Cap. And then he comes with an alternate head, which I'll show you right now. A lot of people, this head is kind of strange because from certain angles it looks like Chris Evans, but then from others it does not. And it's a throwback, of course, to this Marvel Legend that we got when Return of Marvel Legends first started, which he has problems standing because he has very weird feet. But just lean up against him so you can see. So you see, I don't know. I like the head. I like the fact that there's like a maskless Captain America head, because normally they don't include that. You know, they didn't include that with the Spider-Man Legends line, the Amazing Spider-Man Legends. But, you know, it looks good. It allows for a lot of, you know, poses that we didn't really get back in the day. We never had a Cap that could salute because they never included extra hands, you know? So having the extra hands finally, it's actually pretty awesome, because now you can have a cap who can salute, which I think looks really good. And that's the way they should always do this. From now on, every cap should have, you know, a saluting hand, because Cap would be saluting his superior officer. That's the way he does things, you know. He is Captain America. But all in all, like I said, this is a dope-ass figure. Very posable. It almost feels like all the things he can do justify the $20 price tag. Goodness gracious, I gotta get used to this. All the things that he can do justify your $20 price tag, you know? It doesn't feel that bad when you have extra hands like you would get with a Marvel Select or a SH Figuarts or something. Like, you feel more like, I don't know, like you got your money's worth. At least that's how I feel, you know? Because in the past, I had been pretty pissed off with the offerings that we had been getting and the way that they had been handled, and the fact that, you know, simple stuff that I wanted wasn't included in the package. And I'm like, you know, seriously, you couldn't include that in the package for me? I did pay $17.99 or, you know, whatever. So, you know, all in all, it's a good figure. Not a lot to complain about. It's awesome. So if you see him, get him. On a side note, though, I managed to find Carnage. I was actually just running around, and I found another Black Widow I picked up for my brother. I was just running around doing my normal stuff, and on my lunch break I stopped at a Kmart of all places, and they were actually stocking the Wave right then and there. So I picked up both Carnage and Black Widow for my brother. So you will be getting a review to finish off that whole line.
Now, the things you get in here make up for a decent package. It's like all the things he can do kind of make up for the fact that he has that bad lateral leg motion. But overall, it's all good, and it's quality. The extra hands are cool. The really well done ab crunch is really cool. You know, I'm a stickler for that. Love them since the Soda Street Fighter figures. Excuse me. The ankle rockers. Those are really cool. The larger shield is pretty cool. The paint deco, everything on this figure as far as paint goes is well done. I didn't have much slop. Overall, it's just a great figure. He's definitely worth it, you know. At first, I thought it would be one of those figures where standing still he looks good, but as soon as you start moving him around, it falls apart. But he retains so much of the articulation that we've become used to as far as Marvel Legends go, that, you know, it's just a must-have. And the movie was so good that you're going to want to recreate a lot of those scenes. Also, he just looks good with whatever combination of Avengers you might have. Since most of us can't find a Black Widow, here's my team without the Black Widow, but with Spider-Man and Black Panther subbing in. He just looks good. He looks the part. He looks like he should be where he is. He should be doing what he's doing. And it doesn't matter what kind of setup you have, he fits. So if you see him, pick him up. He's actually one that I've only seen a handful of times. I think I've seen him 3 times. Two of which were the times that I bought him. And since then I haven't seen him or Black Widow, but I'm seeing, you know, a lot of the other figures all over the place. So if you see him, pick him up. It's worth it. You won't be sorry. You will be really happy that you picked him up. Looking at the figure, it's just well done. He's actually engineered just as well as, you know, your Marvel Now Cap. It's a good figure. You're going to be seeing him in the background of a lot of little setups that I'll do. I might be taking some pictures of the guy. He just is a well done figure. So pick him up if you see him. I think they're going for about $20. They should be like $19.99 now. Online, I know they're asking strange prices, so I would avoid some of the online stores and try to get him at retail if possible. But I don't know. But anyway, that's my review for the Winter Soldier Cap figure. I will be doing Baron Zemo next. He is on the way. Anyway, peace outside.